Hi, Caroline. So, in this reading is all centered around your masculine and feminine. So, here I'm going to be honing in on your Venus, which represents your true feminine nature and your connection to your desires. What is fulfilling to your feminine, and what is it really? How does it really operate in the world? What balances and soothes and fulfills? And of course, your Mars. So, your Mars is whom represents your masculine energy, the planet of action, the one who is your soldier, and really fulfilling your feminine needs. So, your Mars is the one who shows up with action and really brings the structure. Mars also rules sporting activities and mathematics. All right, so you have Mars in Sagittarius in the 11th house. So it's a very Jupiterian Mars. So this is a big energy. And you bring Mars with this Jupiter influence into the 11th house, and this becomes an incredibly strong placement. So here, Mars really gets to work to fulfill your higher goals. Because Mars rules naturally the 10th house of career and your third house of communication and siblings. So there's an influence with both with this Mars energy. In your chart, you've got your masculine energy sitting very high in the 11th house. So here he turns his focus towards gains, networks, and fulfillment of achievements. This generally kicks off later on in life from age 30 onwards, where there is an enormous potential to access success, recognition, and prosperity. In fact, there's a lust for life here, a real drive to rise and achieve and lead. I believe if you become almost too watery and too isolated, you're going to not be able to experience the fire of your masculine, whom is really such a powerhouse in your chart. But what's very interesting is the nakshatra that wraps around your Mars is Venus, is ruled by Venus, but more on that later. Here, when we have Mars in the 11th house, it often brings a placement that is in the chart of somebody who is the oldest sibling. So one who takes on, or one who, they're either the youngest or the oldest, but certainly one who takes on leading the role in the family. Because they're a natural voice, yeah? You're a natural authority and you have natural charisma. So your Mars in the Sagittarius in the 11th house is also a natural born strategist. He can plan 4, 5, 6 steps ahead and execute his ideas into planning very quickly, where you're able to outmaneuver competition. And in fact, it's like you almost need this dynamic energy in your life, because it's what is forging you in the fire to access more success. So if you're sitting with this and it's a private internal confliction, or if it is seen in the external world as well, don't be afraid of it. Don't worry about it, because these are all only temporary afflictions, and they're almost to just forge you in the fires a little bit more. You have a brilliant capacity, brilliance for, business strategy. Um, especially, you're especially good when you're working with others, like in a team, because you have Ketu in Libra and some other strong Libra placements, I believe, which really is about bringing harmony with partnerships and a strong need for relationships as well. However, this Mars is your soldier, and he is your soldier to the Sun. He is your soldier to Jupiter. He works with Jupiter, and he has two main goals. One of them is actually to create wealth. So never feel guilty about this. This is in your blueprint. And he wants to come out on top from his own efforts as well. There's that power in you. and to be from your own creation, yeah? So at the core, your masculine energy really desires this self-respect and this independence to initiate, to build, to teach, and to win. Mars with your Jupiter connection here, because you have a Jupiter sitting in the first house, but also your Mars is in Sagittarius, which is Jupiter energy, yeah? So your Mars is fighting on behalf of your Jupiter placement. So Jupiter is really supporting Mars, amplifying wisdom, amplifying expansion, amplifying truth. So when there's loss, or when there's sadness, or when there's troubles in your life, you win via your wisdom and bringing back into your truth and revealing the disillusions of this life. In a past life, your energy was very much tied into old religious systems or philosophical systems. So you carry this with you, this conviction, into this life, because they were very well forged in your past. And so it's almost like hardwired into you. And yes, this can lead to some conflicts, to some debates, but Mars and Jupiter, they like a good debate, especially if there's a positive outcome, because there's joy and like a jovial spirit here as well. Great resilience. Your masculine has great strength and resilience, whereas your feminine and your other placements might feel very, very deeply. Your masculine is very strong and resilient. And here lies the ability to communicate ideas in a way which is deeply understandable for others when you're in your element of serving the collective. Yeah. So not only are you a fighter, you're also a teacher. And you overcome your obstacles, because we do see obstacles here in this 11th house. You overcome your obstacles with wisdom, so deep inner wisdom, and forging that wisdom not by force alone, but by your higher philosophies. So your masculine energy also loves to feel liberated, loves to travel, loves to be on the go. Sometimes these people are like eating and walking around, like they're quite restless spirits. But you do really like to move, and you do well when you're on the go. You're a free spirit, a natural free spirit. Yes. This makes you also very commanding and open and forthright person. And at times, this Mars, because of its Scorpio's ruling your 12th house, there are some hidden negativities from others in your life. But this is just past life karmas. Do not worry about it. They just sort of soothe themselves out, because your Jupiter is so strong and direct and forthright that ultimately it triumphs, and no shadow can truly harm you. Okay, so if you're too much in your masculine, how do you soothe? Well, we must remember that Sagittarius is ruled by fire. And so when you're burning a little bit too bright, calming yourself down with fire, because fire fights fire. In the homeopathic world, it brings you into a state of neutrality or calm. So like scented incense or scented candles, gazing into the fire. So any sort of fire ritual is very good for you. And also Jupiter rules large bodies of water, especially oceans and large lakes are very, very balancing for the soldier in your chart. So if you are working, like overlooking a lake or next to the ocean, very, very prosperous for you to activate your creative energy and your wealth. If you have, if you're like filming or working, like photographs, anything that involves the large bodies of water is very auspicious for you, both spiritually but materially. So activates your material wealth as well. And they do need to be large. So like a lake as well, that almost looks like it could be an ocean. will be good. So, not just a little tiny river. We want big expanse. All right. So why is the 11th house so powerful? Because ultimately it represents the fulfillments of your desires. And it's also where income comes into a person's chart. So while your second house represents, accumulated money and money from family and the bank, your 11th house is your incomings. Yeah. So it's just sitting above the 10th house of career. So it's your incomings. And this is funneled through friendships and networks, and especially serving the greater good, because this is the house of Aquarius. We should not forget this. So when you're in this place, it's just a natural fit for you, serving people through your wisdom, through what you've accumulated and your triumphs, and as a part of your story. This Mars placement in the 11th house has a really uncanny ability to come out on top. So you could be privately fighting this, or you could openly be fighting this, like in sports, or you thrive in groups and teams, especially if you're in a directive role or a leadership role or a co-partnership role, because of your Libra key to influence. Relationships become alliances, and they do become part of your success. Sometimes there will be financial up and downs. This is a birth chart of somebody that is not born into, Dubai as a prince or a princess, that there will be financial ups and downs in your life. But Mars in the 11th house does like to crunch numbers, and this is a part of your blueprint. Very good at it, and keeping nice control over those fluctuations. When you're in balance, this Mars will your masculine, your intellect, your higher self can make a rapid progress in education. So you should be able to. There's a natural ability to be able to consume knowledge and learn, because this is a desire of your Mars. What's even stronger is your ability to work strategically. So I wonder how this will come into serving others, working strategically for them, or for the group. This Mars also has a very strong ability to overcome illness, because it's looking down at the sixth house of health. If you do get any inflammation or pitta, in Ayurveda we call it pitta related imbalances, this Mars really is proactive, and you'll like go and grab something. I'm going to fix this. I'll fix this. Like you get the job done. You can transform your health very quickly. You have very strong body and strong health and wellness, strong immunity. This Mars secretly enjoys a bit of competition because it sharpens your mind and it gives you that sense of accomplishment. So don't ever feel ashamed for this. It's part of your archetype. In short, your Mars is a master planner, fighter, and teacher who achieves not just through action, but through your wisdom and your conviction. Yeah. You've got a strong, contagious conviction. The nakshatra, Purva Ashanda nakshatra, that it falls under is the symbol is the fan, and the fan is a beautiful object for you. So working with the fan, even in I see those like dancing fans with the red cascading fabrics, or a fan medallion, anything like this. It's part of it will strengthen your Mars. The ruling deity is Abha, so she rules the cosmic waters of purification and flowing forward. So you do have this unstoppable momentum. Do not stagnate. Trust yourself. This nakshatra's ruling planet, that oversees the whole thing is Venus. So bringing this softness to your Mars and bringing a diplomacy. These people would make very good politicians, because it brings rounds off the edges of that drive. Um, this nakshatra is known as the invisible one and carries the energy of renewal, victory, and is very truth seeking. The other archetype, if you haven't picked up on it already, would be the warrior scholar archetype here. So when you're traveling and you're learning and you're teaching, you're just and in beautiful places, beautiful environments, you would be on fire. So going anywhere where you get to expand beyond yourself, it's very, very strengthening to your Mars and networks as well, because 11th house is the house of gains through networks. I realize I've repeated that a few times, but I just want to make sure that you really are aware of that. If you ever have any doubt, it's just causing you doubt to go forward and to connect with people, the right kind of groups and communities, so that you can prosper. And when you prosper, they prosper, because the 11th house is also one of personal gain. It's not just about giving to community. No, it's fulfilled through personal gain. And that's what the 11th house wants. It wants to receive wealth. It's fulfilled by that. Is balanced by that. So having ambitious friends and strong allies in your world, very important to you. Let's see, what else? There's a power and a grace with your success. The 11th house is the house of success. And so you've got both masculine and feminine energies here. So it brings that grace and that charisma. But mindful not to, be too shape-shifty with people before you've thoroughly, because you're so good at connecting with new people and with people. But when it comes to your work, make sure that, you're aligned with the right allies longer term. But socially, no problem. Very congenial and connects well with people. I think we covered that some people might be a little bit jealous sometimes, but yeah, again, it tends to be when they have weaker belief systems than you. So just pull back, know yourself, because your gifts are you being really aligned with your truth and invincible, and your Mars regenerates quickly here, and it might go deep, but you also transform in your depths. You heal quickly, and then you move forward again. So in summary, you're here to really be a fighter and an inspirer. So someone that does really push forward regardless of loss and circumstance. And ultimately, the ultimate ideal is to uplift the collective with your personal story. Okay, so let's circle back to your Venus. Now, your Venus is in the sign of Taurus. And what does Taurus rule? The throat. And this is a very exalted place for Venus because it's in its own sign of Taurus. And Taurus is all things Venetian. So arts, beauty, interiors, fashion, design, these are the things that your feminine really is activated by. We see Taurus and Venus in the fourth house. Probably the largest amount of money that they spend is on their home. So home investments, which I mentioned previously. Home is a sanctuary, and it becomes a place where you really root yourself down when you feel imbalanced, just being around the things, the comforts, the aesthetic nature, and nature in general is what really grounds you. Certain music, all things Venetian's very, very important for you. I would go as far as to say that beauty and aesthetics and nice things are not just a luxury for you, but almost an essential for your soul. It balances your mental health and enables you to feel prosperous. So the fourth house is the house of happiness, and it also is the house of the mother. Um, and here, above all, the feminine wants stability and security. And it's a very strong placement for it because you have Saturn in your 10th house, which is so determined, and you have Mars working for you. So this is a person's chart that in time they will acquire wealth through all the means that and modes of operation that I mentioned before. A stable family life is quite important to you. However, this placement often clicks with older children or children that are, or when your children are older. There's a real team camaraderie where things become stronger in the family. Or if you have a chosen family, so say like a partner that has children, they become very essential to your stability and your love and your unit and your fulfillment. Secure relationships is what Venus in Taurus is really craving. Someone that's reliable and steady and lasting. Casual connections don't satisfy. You can do them, you can be in them, but you wouldn't really be serious because you are hardwired for loyalty and honesty and devotion. So with this placement, it's possible that an older man, as I mentioned before in your wealth reading, would really fit nicely with Venus in Taurus, one that has accomplished a lot or has strong means to support you and help you become that, like, isn't intimidated by you. Like, he could almost be like so comfortable in his masculine energy that he sort of leans back and becomes a little bit more yin and you become a bit more yang in achieving your dharma. But then when you're at home, you just rebalance back into your feminine, and you feel, when you're cherished and when you're nourished, oh, you're so happy. um so yeah, you're very good at creating a sanctuary or a temple that's filled with love. Like, you're a gift to the masculine here. So yeah, most fulfilled by a partner that's consistent, grounded, and can offer both emotional and material security. Partner who provides stability or by allowing you to root deeply into your essence and your inner work and your dharma will help you unlock your fullest feminine essence. So your fulfillment really does come from creating beauty and working with women, and having that beautiful home, or creating a beautiful home, sacred space, and to really balance it with Mars's adventurous, expansive, freedom seeking, go-getter energy. Like, this person could travel, or like travel abroad and then come home, travel abroad and come home, especially for work. This, going on workshops and retreats and then coming home. You're almost geared up for that. You'd be successful when you're combining exploration and travel. Your Mars will be really satisfied and bring home wealth to the home. Let's see some of my notes here. Wealth for Taurus is stored wealth, accumulating resources through long-term financial stability. Let's see. Yeah, when you adorn this Venus with, luxury items, they actually become stronger um, in their magnetic ability. Like, yeah, sure, they can just strip everything down to nature and simplicity as well. But if you have your key things that make you feel wealthy and beautiful, it supports your magnetism. Um, let's consider the balance of the two. So we have in summary, your Mars, so your planet of action. And here he's about achievement, expansion, travel, higher learning, truth, supported by Saturn underneath, which is about transformation in your field, being an authority, thrives in networks and travel and wisdom sharing. And then coming back into the Venus, which is rooted in nurturing and sensuality and creative, very earthy and deeply magnetic. She thrives when she's surrounded by nature and home and flowers, and together they make such a powerful combination to gain recognition, actually, and conquer the world step by step by listening to your own inner guidance and your higher self. Um, because Mars wants to go out and win. So even if you're trying to tame the Mars or soften the Mars, it's not a good idea. Because Mars is wanting to go and get things done. So this, in summary, creates a very creative, visionary leader archetype, someone who acts boldly, but also builds very nourishing foundation to heal yourself, help yourself, and then your cup overflows to help others. Oh, makes me feel a bit emotional. It's been an honor to read for you. Um, and let's see, any final notes here? I feel like your Venus will naturally draw the right people to you. Like, you don't need to chase, you just need to be, in that. So almost like the multidimensional self, the Mars energy is out there in the field working. And if you just be and create, you'll be having the best of both things, embodying, all the things that you desire, by getting creative and moving forward. Acting bravely, of course, we all need to, right? And then you will be rewarded. So stay in that higher self, stay in that higher mind, stay with your highest desires, and may you fulfill everything that you've come here to fulfill. Satnam.